In today's story, we're diving into a tense situation that unfolded thousands of feet in the air. Imagine boarding a fully booked domestic flight, where everyone is eager to settle in for their journey. Among the passengers is Sarah, a pregnant black woman making her way down the narrow aisle, her hand gently resting on her belly. She's visibly tired but maintains a polite and composed demeanor. Sarah steps onto the plane, her face showing the fatigue of travel. She's visibly pregnant and the strain of navigating the crowded airport is evident. With each step, she grips her boarding pass a little tighter, eyes scanning the seat numbers as she makes her way down the narrow aisle. She finally spots her row and lets out a small sigh of relief, but her relief is short-lived. Welcome back to PlotTwister. Before we unravel today's mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're always in the loop. Tom, a middle-aged man dressed in a sharp business suit, is already seated in the aisle seat, his laptop open on the tray table. He's deep into his work, fingers flying over the keyboard, completely absorbed. Sarah approaches, offering a polite smile and gestures to the window seat next to him. Tom barely glances up, dismissing her with a quick wave of his hand, indicating that he's not moving. Sarah tries again, her voice gentle but firm, explaining that the window seat is hers, and she really needs to sit down. Tom sighs heavily, irritation creeping into his voice as he insists he needs the extra space to work and won't move. Sarah stands there, a mix of confusion and frustration crosses her face. The discomfort is clear, and the exchange catches the attention of nearby passengers. A young girl across the aisle tugs at her mother's sleeve, whispering and pointing towards Sarah and Tom. Murmurs start to ripple through the cabin, a buzz of curiosity and growing concern. The tension is thickening, and Sarah's feeling the weight of the eyes on her. Emily, the flight attendant, notices the disturbance and strides over. She's calm and composed, but there's a firmness in her step. She asks Tom if he could please let Sarah take her seat, explaining the importance of accommodating a pregnant passenger. Tom's response is curt and dismissive. He insists he paid for the seat and needs it for his work. His tone is sharp, and it only serves to heighten the tension. Sarah stands awkwardly, her distress growing more visible. The passengers nearby begin to murmur loudly, clearly taking Sarah's side. Lisa, a middle-aged woman sitting across the aisle, is speaking up, her voice carrying a note of indignation as she supports Sarah's claim to the seat. A businessman nearby nods in agreement, adding his voice to the growing chorus against Tom's refusal. Emily feels the pressure mounting. She takes a deep breath and stands her ground, her voice firm but respectful as she asks Tom again to move. The situation is teetering on the edge of chaos, the atmosphere charged with frustration and sympathy for Sarah. Emily stands her ground, her tone steady as she asks Tom once more to let Sarah take her seat. Tom, now visibly irritated, pushes back his chair and stands up. His movements are sharp and filled with annoyance. He glares at Emily, his voice rising slightly as he argues that he booked the seat for his own comfort and needs it for work. The tension in the cabin is palpable, with all eyes now firmly on the unfolding drama. Sarah stands by, her discomfort clear. She clutches her belly, trying to steady for breathing. The support from the surrounding passengers gives her a glimmer of reassurance, but the stress is taking its toll. Lisa, the woman across the aisle, speaks up again, her voice more forceful this time, pointing out that it's common decency to accommodate a pregnant woman. A few more passengers murmur their agreement, creating a ripple of supportive voices through the cabin. Tom's frustration only grows. He turns to face the passengers, his face flushed with anger, and snaps that he has every right to stay in his seat. His words hang in the air, heavy with defiance. The cabin falls into an uneasy silence, the passengers watching, waiting to see what will happen next. Emily remains calm, but her eyes flicker with determination. She firmly tells Tom that the airline's policy is to ensure the comfort and safety of all passengers, especially those with special needs, such as Sarah. Tom's jaw tightens, and for a moment, it looks like he might refuse again. The atmosphere is charged, the air thick with anticipation. Then Emily turns to Sarah, offering her a reassuring smile. She takes Sarah's arm gently, guiding her towards the aisle. Sarah follows her, her steps hesitant but grateful. Emily finds an alternative seat for Tom, pointing it out with a firm yet polite gesture. Tom hesitates, his pride clearly wounded, but with the weight of the passenger stares at him, he finally concedes. He picks up his laptop and grudgingly moves to the new seat. his face a mask of irritation. Sarah, now able to take her assigned seat, lowers herself into it with a sigh of relief. The cabin begins to settle. The tension eases as the immediate conflict seems to be resolving. Lisa gives Sarah a comforting nod, while the businessman nearby offers a supportive smile. Emily ensures Sarah is comfortable, adjusting her seat and offering a few kind words. As Emily steps back, she surveys the cabin, her eyes meeting those of the passengers who supported Sarah. There's a shared sense of satisfaction and relief, but the underlying tension still simmers just below the surface. The flight continues, the incident leaving a lingering impact on everyone involved. The flight progresses, but the air remains thick with unresolved tension. Emily continues her duties, her eyes frequently darting back to check on Sarah, who now seems more at ease. Meanwhile, Tom sits in his new seat, a storm of emotions playing across his face. He glares at his laptop, but his focus is clearly elsewhere. Minutes tick by, and the murmurs of passengers gradually subside into the normal hum of in-flight activity. Emily approaches Sarah with a drink and a reassuring smile, asking if she needs anything else. Sarah shakes her head, grateful for the attention. Nearby passengers exchange quiet words, the earlier incident still fresh in their minds. Tom, isolated in his seat, begins to feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. He steals glances at Sarah and the other passengers, noting their disapproval looks. It's clear that the cabin has judged him harshly. His initial anger starts to give way to a growing sense of unease. He remembers a time when he was in a difficult situation and how someone's kindness made all the difference. This memory stirs something in him, prompting a shift in his attitude. Emily senses the change and decides to address the cabin. She picks up the intercom and speaks with a calm, steady voice. She gently reminds everyone of the importance of empathy and understanding, especially in confined spaces where tensions can easily escalate. Her words resonate with the passengers, and there's a noticeable shift in the atmosphere. Applause ripples through the cabin, and the mood lightens slightly. Tom sits back, absorbing Emily's message. He glances around, seeing the nod of agreement from other passengers. The businessman who supported Sarah catches his eye and gives a slight nod, a silent urging for Tom to reconsider his stance. With a deep breath, Tom stands up. He walks over to Sarah, who looks up, surprised. Tom's expression is no longer one of irritation, but of genuine remorse. He apologizes sincerely, acknowledging his mistake and the discomfort he caused. Sarah, taken aback, pauses for a moment before accepting his apology. They exchange a few words, and Tom's tension visibly eases as he returns to his seat. The mood in the cabin lightens further. Passengers who were on edge now relax, seeing the conflict's resolution. Emily smiles as she watches Tom and Sarah's interaction. She returns to her duties with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that she helped turn a negative situation into a positive one. As the plane continues its journey, the atmosphere is slightly calmer. Conversations resume and the earlier tension fades into the background. Emily checks on Tom, who nods appreciatively. It's clear that a turning point has been reached, and the flight progresses smoothly from here. The plane glides through the sky and a sense of calm finally begins to settle in. Passengers relax into their seats, the earlier drama fading into a more peaceful atmosphere. Emily moves through the cabin, offering drinks and snacks, her reassuring presence a steadying force for everyone. Sarah leans back, finally able to enjoy a moment of peace. Lisa, sitting across the aisle, strikes up a conversation with her, sharing a story about her own pregnancy and offering tips and support. Sarah smiles, grateful for the kindness. The mood between them is warm, and it ripples outwards towards the nearby passengers. Tom, still in his seat, reflects on his actions. A sting of embarrassment and guilt lingers, but he feels lighter after apologizing. He looks around, seeing the relaxed, friendly interactions among the passengers. Determined to contribute positively, he decides to do something more. He calls Emily over and quietly speaks to her. She listens, her face thoughtful. After a moment, she nods, understanding his intention. Emily heads to the front of the cabin and picks up the intercom once more. Her voice is warm as she shares Tom's message. An apology to the entire cabin for the earlier disruption and a thank you for their understanding and patience. The passengers respond with applause, a clear sign that Tom's gesture is appreciated. Tom stands up and approaches Sarah again, this time with a small gift he had in his carry-on, a box of chocolates he had planned to give to a colleague. He offers it to Sarah, who looks surprised and touched by the gesture. She accepts it with a smile, and they share a brief, heartfelt conversation. The mood around them lightens even further, with nearby passengers exchanging smiles and nods of approval. The rest of the flight is peaceful. Passengers chat quietly, read, or watch their in-flight entertainment. The earlier tension has been replaced by a sense of camaraderie and shared experience. Emily continues her rounds, her smile reflecting the positive change she helped bring about. As the plane begins its descent, Emily makes another announcement, thanking everyone for their patience and cooperation. She emphasizes the importance of kindness and understanding, especially in shared spaces like an airplane. The passengers applaud, a unified response to her message. The plane touches down smoothly and the passengers prepare to disembark. There's a tangible sense of relief and satisfaction in the air. As they gather their belongings, many take a moment to thank Emily and the other flight attendants for their hard work. Tom helps Sarah with her luggage, a final gesture of goodwill. They exchange smiles, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they've been on together. As the passengers file out of the plane, there's a feeling of shared humanity and the power of small acts of kindness. The plane lands smoothly and passengers begin to gather their belongings, preparing to disembark. The atmosphere in the cabin is marked different from earlier, lighter, more connected. There's a sense of shared relief and mutual respect. Emily stands at the front thanking each passenger as they exit, her smile genuine and warm. Sarah carefully stands up, stretching slightly as she reaches for her bag. Before she can lift it, Tom steps forward offering to help. She hesitates for a moment, then nods appreciatively. Tom lifts her bag with ease and hands it to her, their eyes meeting briefly in a moment of mutual understanding and forgiveness. As they move towards the exit, Lisa catches up with Sarah, offering more words of encouragement and promise to stay in touch. They exchange contact information, and Lisa gives Sarah a reassuring pat on the back before they part ways. Nearby passengers who witness the entire ordeal smile and nod at Sarah, offering her silent support and well wishes. Tom lingers for a moment watching the passengers file out. He approaches Emily, who is still at the front, her eyes scanning the cabin for any final needs. He thanks her sincerely for her patience and professionalism, admitting that her actions and calm demeanor helped him realize his own mistake. Emily smiles, appreciating his words, and assures him that everyone makes mistakes. It's how we handle them that counts. Sarah walks down the jetway, feeling lighter than she did when she boarded the plane. The kindness of strangers, the support from Lisa, and Tom's genuine apology have turned a stressful journey into a meaningful experience. As she steps into the terminal, she takes a deep breath, ready to continue her journey with a renewed sense of optimism. Outside the gate, passengers disperse, but many share knowing glances and smiles, silently acknowledging the shared experience. Emily watches them go, her heart full. She knows that today she did more than just her job. She helped bring people together, reminding them of the importance of empathy and kindness. As the last passenger exits, Emily takes a moment to reflect. The day started with tension and conflict, but through patience, understanding, and a bit of courage, it ended with reconciliation and mutual respect. She feels a sense of pride and fulfillment, knowing she made a difference. The airport bustles with activity, but the events of the flight linger in the minds of those who were there. They carry with them a reminder of the power of human connection and the impact of standing up for what's right, even in the smallest of ways. The story of this flight will be one they remember not for the conflict, but for the resolution and the kindness that ultimately prevailed. What are your thoughts on the twist we uncovered today? Comment your ideas below. Make sure to like and subscribe for a daily dose of drama and mystery. See you later with another twist.